First up on the show then, my colleague Sumita Kareer caught up with Praval Singh, who's a VP Marketing and Customer Experience at Zoho, to talk a little bit about their plans to develop AI with consumer value, the kind of growth and productivity that they are expecting due to automation. Hear out that conversation.
From what we understand, Zoho has developed an LLM, which is basically a large language model, which is pretty much like what ChatGPT is for OpenAI. But can you help us more in terms of understanding the nature and structure of this AI offering from Zoho?
Thank you for having me today. We spoke about our market momentum earlier this week. And part of that was our investments in AI. Interestingly, our investments in AI go back over a decade now, and having brought in the AI layer across the Zoho ecosystem through various software offerings that we have. We call it ZIA, by the way. And over the last 10 years, we've built AI functionality across more than 24 use cases, from OCR to grammar correction to so on and so forth. But what we're doing now is, in the short term, we are integrating with the generative AI technologies that customers can get value from. And we recently announced more than a dozen applications integrating with ChatGPT, and we will continue to build on that in the short to medium term. On the long term is what we are developing a proprietary LLM, which would be capable of conversing, paraphrasing, and adapting to newer tasks with what we call the zero-shot learning techniques. And the idea is to empower seamless AI-driven communication and knowledge discovery. So that's as part of our long-term plan. But because, again, this would take time for us to build, and while doing so, as a company, we would be mindful of users' privacy. And that's something we've always stood for. And keeping that in mind, and to take care of short-term needs of customers, the integration that we announced a few weeks ago is already in place. So that's our approach. There's a short-term approach to solving for this. There's a long-term approach to solving for this. And all of this would be through a lens of privacy for our users, something we really believe in.
So, Praval, very interesting that you mentioned that the AI capabilities that you're developing are going to give value to customers, and not just that, they'll help with the paraphrasing, summarizing, and developing tech, which, like I said, is going to add value to customers. But what do you exactly mean by that? And what exactly are your clients asking for, considering the kind of conversations that you're having with them?
Okay, so there are two parts to it. Like I said, the short term is the integration that we brought in, and that integration is with a bunch of applications from Zoho Suite that we have, over a dozen of them, and which is going to help customers leverage ChatGPT, which has already been available. So that's more of an API integration across different use cases, across various products that we have. But what we are talking about long term is more for building our own LLMs. Now, that part is still, I would say, is under the wraps. So I would not be able to share specific details about how we are going about it. But what is now available, something that we have already built in across our apps, from our marketing suite, sales suite of applications, HR, finance, business intelligence, that is already available. And that is simply integrating the ChatGPT functionality within these applications. So that's the short-term answer that I was giving. The long-term is something that is still under wraps. I won't be able to share a lot of details about how we are going about doing this.
What are the kind of investments that Zoho is making as far as AI capabilities are concerned, considering that you mentioned that your efforts have been going in this direction for the past 1 decade?
I mean, in terms of commitment, like I said, we've already been working on this for 10 plus years. We are an R&D focused company. I take pride in building the entire technology stack, all the way from running our own data centers to building a suite of business applications. That's the genesis of who we are. We don't really have a parked financial number I can quote with you here today, but the intent is very clear. We've been at it for 10 plus years. We want to take a long-term approach to this, focusing on privacy, And having said that, we do not want our customers to not have access to generative AI in the short term, and hence the integration with all whatever options would be available, we'll do it along the way. So that's our broader approach to how we look at the AI investment.
So considering that you mentioned about improving efficiencies within the organization, not just for Zoho, but overall in the tech ecosystem wherever AI is deployed. But talking specifically of Zoho, because there are going to be some efficiencies which will come as a result of deployment of more technology, more AI into the nature of your business, will that mean also phasing out some jobs? Will that also mean job cuts?
No, we're not looking at cutting some jobs. I mean, definitely there'll be, the way we look at it is AI is going to augment. And like I said, productivity and automation is what AI would help most of us with across roles. And we're not looking at cutting jobs per se, but definitely the way we look at it is we can do a lot more with the same number of people that we have when AI comes in. Of course, as most of us, there are a lot of unknowns and unknowns along the path, and we will sort of uncover them, unleash them as we continue to learn on this path. One thing that we made a commitment was that none of this is going to impact our existing team. So we've committed to not having layoffs in the organization. And the way I would say we are able to do that is by just staying frugal. And this is beyond just AI. We've always been frugal around our approach to building a business. It could be having our offices in tier 2, tier 3 towns or cities, or let's say prioritizing spending more on R&D versus marketing and sales. Running a bootstrap business obviously tops that list, but some of these, and definitely having a more rational spend on marketing. So these things keep us frugal for long term. And like I said, we look at AI as complementing human intelligence.
Zoho developing its own homegrown alternative to ChatGPT. The internet is truly celebrating it after Sam Altman's controversial comments recently, allegedly saying that it's very difficult for an Indian startup to develop something, a large language model with just $10 million in funding. But do you agree with that statement? And secondly, in terms of the capital needed, what's the kind of allocation that a startup needs to develop a foundational LLM?
Like to comment on a statement that's already been made. At best, I can only share what we've been doing, which I think already did. So no comments on some statement at this point. Like I said, we're all very early in this journey, and anything that we say today, may not be relevant just 6 months from now. So we'll see how this journey paves out for all of us. Companies that have been building on the AI premise for a long term already have a set team. There is a mindset, there is an approach towards, and of course, the grounds are covered. Like I said, we've been working on AI for more than 10 years now. And if we say that we would take a long-term approach to building an LLM, you can assume that it's something that does take time and effort and building a right team. We have things in place, I would say, because of our work in the last decade or so, but it is still going to take us time to be able to put something with proof that it's going to add value to our customers. And hence, we're taking a long-term approach. But again, this is very hard for me to comment on someone else's business or a startup or investment on how soon they can get this far. Very subjective, I would say, and a lot of nuances built into that. Very hard to answer question upfront with a number.
There's also this very, very hotly debated and contested topic of regulation. Now, while we know that the European Union's AI regulations are based on risk assessment, US may be looking at regulations based on sector specific. But what is the approach that the Indian government should take as far as regulating AI is concerned? And I ask you this question specifically because you stated that Zoho has been in the research and development of AI technologies for almost a decade.
I mean, I would also like to bring up, a recent open letter that Sridhar, along with Mr. Rajiv Kumar and Mr. Shravan Sharma, had put out. That open letter is out there in public, and this came in after another open letter that came out where there was a demand for pausing AI systems more powerful than GPT-4 for at least 6 months. And if you look at it from an Indian context, the effects of adopting technology without, I would say, essential due diligence and appropriate safeguards can cause damage or disruption to the existing social order. Now, that's something that is what we sort of put forward in that open letter as well. And I think what it demands is having IT researchers, policymakers, all of them to sort of come forward and have this debate of how do we use AI and have a national consensus on what's the best use of putting it forward and implementing it without making considerable damage into the social fabric. As a country which is so large, has a very interesting demographic, a lot of these unguarded, I would say, exploration can lead to something which could be catastrophic as well. And the request that was the letter that we had put out with Sridhar and two other experts. And I think we still continue to believe the same. The AI is something that we are yet to see how it will unfold. While there are positive effects of it on the productivity and I would say automation side of it, there's a lot to be discovered yet. And that's the reason why policy, governance, all of that kicks in and is increasingly important for a country like India.
You mentioned that you're not looking at laying off people, and this has been one consistent theme as far as Zoho is concerned. Now, this is very, very important considering that there are some big tech companies, some startups as well that have taken at least second round of job cuts. So how are you able to ensure that? How are you able to build a sustainable business amidst global macroeconomic headwinds?
Yeah, I think the question you put forward is even more critical, important right now, given the environment that we are in. But I think for us, it's always been that way. We've always believed in running a business with a fairly sustainable business practices, which means we are in it for the long run. Having run a bootstrap business for over 25 years with a very low attrition rate, there's a kind of a belief that the system that we have within, which is to be frugal and be rational in terms of how we spend money, how we look at technology and R&D. And this whole idea of profitability is very core to our business. It's because we're not in a race to exit. We are in it to run the business, not to run away from it, is what we call it. So all of that put together keeps us frugal. It has kept us that way even when the sun was shining and there were, I would say, irrational amounts of money being on acquisitions and hiring and everything else. So with those kind of long-term background and approach that we've had, we would say that we've been able to build a kind of trust in people. And again, talent is something we're very focused on. And most people at Zoho who've been here in leadership roles have been here for long. And our approach to talent kind of enables us to serve this in the long run. And we've always believed in running a profitable business, and that has sort of enabled us to keep our employees with us happy for a longer run. That's the one part. The other part of it is marketing spends. Over the years, we have seen a lot of money being pumped into marketing. I would say a lot of it was irrational. During those years as well, we were very mindful of where we put our money and how much. So that kind of rational approach to spending money on marketing also helps us.
So last year you clocked $1 billion in revenue, and just a few days back there was news of Zoho's investment in the upmarket segment. So that and AI aside, what is going to be the key focus area for Zoho?
Yeah, so the $1 billion in revenue was something we announced last year. Right. We are well above that. But more recently, what we, in fact, just last week, we spoke about our growth in the upmarket segment, which is mid to large size companies. And our 3-year CAGR growth on that is upwards of 65%, I would say. And interestingly, today, more than half of our business in India is coming from this upmarket segment, which shows that while our upmarket growth is good globally, in India it's even faster. As part of that, we announced some investments in the upmarket growth segment, both on the technology platform side as well as go-to-market side. So things like increasing our investments into enterprise business solutions team, which is a team that works across different industries and providing them solutions. It's a services team that we have. And we've been expanding them across skills, industry depth, regional presence. We've opened a bunch of offices in multiple cities within the country now, the large cities, Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Calcutta, etc., to be closer to where customers are. Some new SI partnerships. We are strengthening our SI partner ecosystem. Where we already have a bunch of SI partners that we work with, but we're adding more to the list. Things like global procurement, for example. So we now support over 15 currencies worldwide. That's on the go-to-market side. The other side, like I said, is on the platform piece itself. So Zoho Marketplace, which today hosts over 1,800 extensions, has surpassed over 1 million installations, is basically a platform to help companies use Zoho along with other third-party applications. Because when you work with larger companies, interoperability is the key. And our investments in platform technology is in line with that. Also, our no-code and low-code platforms across Canvas, Wizards, Creator, Flow, all of that enables large companies to bring in low-code capabilities on top of Zoho platform to build for custom nuanced needs within an organization. Apart from that, we've launched a couple of new products as part of this announcement. One is a contract management software for mid to large companies to manage their contracts end to end. We've also announced 2 products in the identity, the security and privacy space. One is Zoho OneAuth, which is a comprehensive multi-factor authentication platform with Cloud Sync, something that we can use either with third-party applications or with Google with the other applications, including Zoho applications. And the other is the Zoho Directory, which is a secure platform for workforce, identity, and access management. So these are some new products that cater to the upmarket momentum that we've been seeing. And yeah, that's new and upcoming at Zoho.
Lots in store as far as Zoho is concerned, but thank you very much for sparing some time out to talk to ET now.
Thanks very much for that. Meantime, let's listen